Check, check. 1, 2, check 1, 2. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video with Improved Guitar. My name is John. Nice to meet you. If I haven't seen you before. Today we are going to look at how do we play the A chord on the guitar. So buckle up and let's get this done together, guys. Excuse me. If you're brand new to guitar, I want to recommend that you check out this video here, just to get your mind in the right place. And that will just say 6 things to know before you start learning guitar. Just get your mind ready to go. So check that out. Yeah, and then let's get to this. Like I've been trying to remember to do, let's make sure our guitars are nice and in tune before we do anything. So it should be E, A, D, G, B, E. Those are our string names here. If your guitar hasn't been tuned, like right before you push pause and go ahead and tune your guitar. Get it nice and tuned if you have a tuner, or if you have an app, or if you don't have any of those things, there's a video here. Learn how to tune your guitar without a tuner, and we can be getting on going. I'm out of breath today. I don't know what's going on. More cardio is required in my life. Anyway, so today we're going to, like I said, learn the A chord. Here is the A chord. Hopefully it's right here. Might be right here. Maybe it'll move around with my hand. I don't know. This is our A chord. And as you can see, the first thing I like to point out is it has 3 dots on the chord chart. So that's 3 different fingers. Finger 1, which is your index finger. Finger 2, which is your middle finger. Finger 3, which is your ring finger. Next, we'll look to the top of the diagram, and it has an X over your E string. That means this first string right here, we are not playing it. We're not playing that string, this chord at all. So let's just forget it's there. And then on your A string below that, there's an O, and that's just going to represent open. We will play it, but we're not going to place any of our fingers there. Pretty straightforward. And then the last one is the high E string, or your first string down here has an O. That means that one's going to be open too, so it'll sound like that, and your A will sound like this if you're in tune. Last reminder, if you have not tuned, push pause, tune up your guitar, and then push play again, and then we can do this. We can get this chord mastered here. All right, so the way I always want to encourage you is look at our chord chart, and let's start with our first finger. So we got our index finger, and look on the chart where it has a circle, black circle with the 1. That is where your first finger goes. So it is the 3rd string from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3. So it's this string right here, and that's our G string. And then you'll notice it's on our 2nd fret. So we'll count our frets here. 1, 2. So that's going to be right there, and it's going to sound just like this. That's the note we are going for. All right. Excuse me. Now we'll go for our 2nd finger, or our middle finger. This one here. I'm not flipping you off. I swear, I'm not. I love and appreciate you. So our 2nd finger here is going to go on the same fret, 1, 2, but up 1 string right there on our D string, and that will sound like this. Here's with nothing on it. Here's when you put your finger down. So our notes we have now are this and this. Cool. And now let's look at our 3rd finger, or our ring finger. And we're going to place that on our 2nd string from the bottom, our B string, on the same fret. 1, 2, the 2nd fret. So it's going to go right there. And that will sound like this. So we have our first finger, our 2nd finger, and our 3rd finger. And we're going to play all the strings except for the low E string, except for this one. So go ahead and see. We're going to play it right now and see what it sounds like. Here we go. That is a beautiful chord. It's a happy chord. I love happy chords. It might not sound as happy for you, and that's okay. Especially when we're first learning guitar or we're learning a new chord, it rarely sounds correct. Go ahead and strum it again, get an idea of what yours sounds like. A lot of stuff can be going on in this. Go ahead and take your hand off, rest it for a second. A lot of stuff can be going on right now because we got our 3 fingers, they're all crammed. We're all crammed all right here on the same fret. So that means there is a lot of room for us to get a distorted sound. Like a lot of room. Especially if you have big hands. Like I have small hands, so it's not as big of an issue for me. But if you have big hands, this one will get you. It's hard. So we need to make sure we're playing on our fingertips and not on the pads of our finger. So we don't want here. We want here. And so here's what we're doing. We're going to diagnose what's going on with your chord right now. Hopefully it sounds awesome. If it sounds awesome, bam, you're awesome. And keep practicing the finger position, keep strumming it, making sure it sounds good, build up some more hand strength. If not, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask you to grab that chord one more time. First finger, right here on the 3rd string. Second finger above that, 2nd fret, the 4th string. 3rd finger, 2nd fret, 2nd string, and we're going to strum it. That is our A. So here's what I want you to do now, and here's sort of what I recommend for anyone when you're learning a new chord is you can strum it and it can sound half decent, might sound terrible, I don't know. But what really helps us figure out what's going on is if we pluck each string at a time. So if you have a guitar pick, you can use that. If you don't have a guitar pick, I don't currently have one, use your thumb right there, and we'll just kind of pick one at a time and drag your thumb down there. So let's go ahead and do that, and you can kind of get an idea of where it's working and where it's not working. So you got a general idea of what's working and what's not. So now let's look at what could possibly be going wrong right now with your chord. If you're getting one of the first things I think of, let's take it one finger at a time, is your first finger on that 3rd string there. So when we learn a chord, we want our finger to be close to the fret, as close as we can get it. But in this chord's case, we got to put 2 other fingers over there, right? So this finger ends up retreating a bit on the 2nd fret, and it gets pretty close to this 1st fret if we're not intentional about it. And when that happens, and when I'm hoping to kind of keep driving home to you guys, when that happens, you start getting a buzz. You hear that? Hear that buzz? That probably just means that you are too close to this 1st fret, and you need to force your finger over this way a little more. Just like that. And of course you can do that when that's the only finger up there. So we'll throw up our 2nd finger, and we'll play that 1st string again. If it's buzzing, go ahead and just push it closer to this fret, closer to this finger, like right on top of it, or right under it, I guess. And try to get it there. And if it sounds like this, what might be happening is your 2nd finger here, your middle finger, is playing a little flat to the fretboard, and it's sort of muting that string. So in that case, we need to first tuck your elbow in and kind of round your hand out a little in order to get the fingertip up there. So once the fingertip's on there, it's much harder to touch that bottom string. So if that's what's going on with you there, that's a good way to avoid that. So elbow tucked in, and your hand a little bit more round, and make sure you're on your fingertips. You probably won't get a buzzing on this finger because your 1st finger is keeping it closer to the fretboard. But if you do, if you're doing something crazy, move that finger right up against the 2nd fret. And then for the 3rd finger, we're going to put that right here, 2nd fret. This one probably won't have many issues because the finger that would be muting it is your first finger, and that's behind. So even if their first finger's touching, it won't mute it because it's behind your third finger. And you probably won't get a buzz caused from being too far that way. You probably won't get a buzz because you got all those other fingers over there. So what you might get on this one is this sound. You hear that? Kind of a mutey sound, and it might buzz a little. And if you get that, that means you're just not pressing down hard enough on that string. Everything should be clear of it, and you're just not pressing hard enough. So press a little harder until you can get it to ring out nice and clear like that. There you go. And then similarly on the last, on the last string, this E string, the high E string, you also there's a possibility that your third finger is going to be muting it, and you might get this sound. And if that's going on, that's the same thing that happened with the second finger. You need to make sure your elbow's in and your hand is round a little bit, and you're playing right on that fingertip on your third finger, just like this. And when you do that, your E should be able to ring out like that. There you go. And your first, your A string, if you have any issues, it could sound like this. Sorry, I forgot it. And what that is you're probably playing your second finger on the pad of your finger instead of the tip. And you're probably, your fingernail or something is just hitting your A string a little bit. Like this. I don't know if you can see that, but just like that. So what you want to do is we want to make sure we're up on our fingertips. So elbow in and your hand a little bit out and rounded right on the fingertip there. So go ahead and strum that chord again while your hand's there. Try to get a nice clean strum out of it. And then when you're done with that, go ahead and take your hand off. Shake it out, your fingertips might be hurting, your hand might be hurting from squeezing. Shake it out, get some blood into it. Just to remind you, hey, this chord is a little tricky, especially if you have giant hands or even regular size hands. I have tiny hands, so I wouldn't know that issue, but I have friends who would tell me, dude, this is hard. My fingers are too fat or too big, and that's okay. You just got to keep working at it, and you'll get there. So guys, that is our A chord. Soon I'll come out with some drills or some practice for you guys to do your A chord. In the meantime, go ahead and play this chord. Look at your chord chart. You can Google A chord chart, not A major chord chart, not A chord chart, just a random chord chart. Google that and go to images or screenshot this one here. I'll pop it up big right now, real big. You can screenshot that and just practice playing that, plucking one string at a time and getting it sounding as clean and crisp as you possibly can. The goal here is to be fundamentally excellent, and that will transfer to the rest of your guitar playing abilities. So guys, thanks so much for watching today. I want to encourage you, if you like this, if this has been helpful, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and shoot me a message in the comments. You have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, anything at all, let's talk. Love to talk to you. In the meantime, keep practicing, keep having fun, and keep improving your guitar. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Bye-bye.